Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us this morning for our National uh, Baptist Convention USA Hope webinar. My name is Bettina Campbell, and I will be one of your co-hosts or co-facilitators for today. And before we get started, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Jerry Young, who is the president of the NBCU, and Dr. Alvin Edwards, who's the General Secretary, Dr. Alvin Love, who is the Chair for our Federal Faith-Based Initiative, and Dr. Michael O. Minor, who is the Director for the NBC USA Hope Initiatives, Health Initiatives. And today we have a wonderful show planned for you, and we're so glad that you joined us. We have a whole lot of information to share with you. And I would like to introduce my co-facilitator, Mr. Terrance Campbell, who is the president and CEO of Your Center, and he is a consultant for Tiger Life, which is a program at the University of Memphis. We'll be talking more about that. Mr. Campbell, would you like to introduce yourself and then introduce the panel, please? Unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you for that introduction. And so, again, my name is Terrance Campbell. I'm the president and CEO of Your Center. I'm also a consultant, a business intelligence and cybersecurity consultant for an organization called Tiger Life, which is part of the University of Memphis's Institute on Disabilities. It provides post-secondary workforce development programming for individuals that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability. I will be joined here shortly with an individual who actually provides entrepreneurship and workforce development programming for the same population of individuals in Michigan, and a educational specialist for Shelby County Schools, who provides in school or during the school day services for high school students that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability, as well as college students that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability as well. And so I know they will be here momentarily. Ms. Bettina.
Yes, I think that Mr. Galloway is already on.
Is he? I do not see him.
Yes,
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Okay, well, I will hand it off to my good friend, Mr. Galloway, to introduce himself, and then you can go just right into your programming, sir.
Great. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this webinar. My name is Warren Galloway, and I'm the president and CEO of my firm, which is called Warren Galloway and Associates. And we provide small business consulting services as well as pre-transition services to rehabilitation agencies in the state of Michigan, more specifically Michigan Rehabilitation Services and the Bureau of Services for Blind Persons. And the services that we provide include soft skills training for individuals with disabilities and helping them become self-sufficient from self-employment. So those are the two main things I do. And my background happens to also be in banking. I support entrepreneurship. I'm an author of 12 books, and I'm a leading advocate for access to capital for individuals with disabilities and individuals, period, across the country, as I speak on the subject quite frequently. Thank you.
And today, the subject that we are talking about, in case we didn't mention it, we're going to mention it again, is making the connection between health and economics. And with your background, Mr. Galloway, I'm sure that you'll do a fantastic job in making that connection for us, because
Thank you.
People don't think about the fact that how money drives just about everything in this country. And so if you will tell us a little bit more about your program, we'd be very happy to hear it.
Sure. So when we talk about economics, I mentioned that I'm a frequent speaker and I've written books on access to capital. And the importance of that is that the driving force in our economy is the ability of individuals to go out there and generate their own income. I've become a leading voice through the trainings that I do, the books that I write, and teaching people how to properly access capital, how to be successful in accessing capital. We know that the impact of someone starting a business is much bigger than someone making a lot of money. It's about people starting businesses and providing opportunities for those in the community for employment opportunities. I say that in a sense, you have individuals in some of our urban communities who open up brick and mortars. And when they open up those brick and mortars, it truly is a village thing, because if we support those entrepreneurs and get them the right type of capital to support them opening up their businesses, they can hire individuals from the community, individuals who have disabilities, individuals who are disenfranchised, individuals who are returning citizens, seniors, youth. They're the ones that are going to impact the economic recovery of our urban communities. And it all starts with those individuals who have decided to open up brick and mortars in the neighborhoods. And so it's important for me to continue to teach those individuals who are taking the risk and opening up businesses how to properly access capital when they think capital is not available. So that's what I do. And I actually do that across the country and other communities as well.
During this time of pandemic, we know that a lot of people have lost their jobs, and we can see the stress that is and the strain that is having, and not only on families, but on the economy as a whole. What are some ways, sir, that we might be able to kind of encourage those individuals who may be all anxious about what the economy is going to look like or what their future is going to look like, and the anxiety is playing havoc on their health, on their blood pressure, on their heart, on their mental state? How can we give them some hope and some courage?
I'm big about entrepreneurship, but it's also okay to seek help from professionals to who can counsel you and give you guidance. And concurrently, while you're getting help on the emotional side, if you are going to go back into the workforce, there are workforce programs out here to help you get back on your feet. Okay. And then this is when I think as human beings, we have a tendency of always finding it easier to help other people. But when it happens to us, we get scatterbrained, like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? You know, one of the things we have to do is utilize our network and find out, don't be ashamed to say, hey, do you know about a program that can help me get back into the workforce? You might be surprised by someone that might be near and dear and close to you who might know of something that can assist you getting back into the program. If you have a diagnosed disability, there are the rehabilitation services out here. Because we talked about, Mr. Campbell and I have talked about recently, is that the definition of a disability is very broad. You know, when we think of disabilities, we all automatically think of someone with a physical disability. But in reality, if you have severe depression, that can be considered a disability. If you have severe diabetes or high blood pressure, things like that can be diagnosed as a disability. And we're encountering a lot of that as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, if you are diagnosed with one of those broadly defined disabilities, now you might be eligible for services with an agency like a rehabilitation services agency that's in any state. Every state has a rehabilitation services, and their sole purpose is to provide you support and training and connections to get reemployed back into society. And typically the two ways that they do that is they either get a job coach or send you through some training or provide job leads to help you get a new resume. Those are those who are going back into the workforce. And that's probably about 95% of the population that the agencies deal with. Then you have the smaller service, which is either 5 or 10%, where they help you move forward with self-employment. Maybe your disability is so much so that you cannot go work for someone else. But guess what? You have talent, expertise, and experience that will allow you to generate some income. Then they can help hire someone to work with you to help build out your business plan and help you find funding to open up a business and be able to generate income. I think when you go through a pandemic like this, everybody is seeking a purpose. And I think when individuals have lost a job or are unable to go back into workforce, they lose that sense of purpose. But there are individuals and agencies that can help you gain that sense of purpose back and be motivated and be able to overcome some of the struggles that you have.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's so
You said that they have these in every city,
Every state.
every state. Okay.
Yes.
I just, every
Yep.
state. Okay.
Mhm.
Mr. Campbell?
So no, I was just going to just reiterate or speak to what Warren said a little bit differently, in that one of the things that we oftentimes talk about with respect to the programming that I do, whether it's with high school age individuals or older, is talk about the brand of you. Okay, you have something within you that you do like nobody else does.
Exactly.
And so in this time of pandemic, it's a ton of services that are needed. You know, we don't oftentimes talk about the fact that while there are many negative things that have happened during the COVID era, there are tons of positive things that have happened with respect to COVID. And that's that most every business, most every employer needs some kind of person that can help them, not just with digital literacy training, but be a type of IT person for them. And so, you know, as we think about IT, I actually have folks just kind of just unpack, well, what does IT mean for me? You know, if I'm a person that likes to write, you know, they need technical writers. They need people that can actually sit up and develop instructions or manuals for how to do this or that. If I like to draw, oh my gosh, graphic design is huge. We're getting ready ourselves as your center to embark on a multi-year comic book and video game development project. If you are that type of person that just really likes to do the bits and bytes, it's tons of stuff that folks can do with respect to IT. But you look at what you do, you know, and how does that fit into IT as opposed to the traditional paradigm, which says, oh, cybersecurity is hot, I need to fit myself into cybersecurity. No, what do you like to do? You know, it's that kind of proverbial thing that, you know, what would you do for nothing all day if you could do it for the rest of your life? And
Absolutely.
then we start identifying what that is that you want to do. Because at a very base level, I think Warren would agree with me that everybody's an entrepreneur. Whether you're being paid by an employer right now or you got your own business, the brand of you is providing a service for somebody. Figure out what you want that service to be, and then identify programs like Warren's. Definitely you can reach out to your center because we have a network, and that email address is just info@yc4w.org. Again, that email address is info at yc4w.org. And of course, I'll be sharing those types of emails with Mr. Galloway, and between the two of us and our networks, will help point you in the right direction for you. Don't let the industry or everybody else drive your decisions though. Look at you. Okay, look at you. Focus on you. I think that is probably something we don't tell everybody enough, just in terms of mental health and wellness. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to be embarrassed because you don't know. Seek help.
Very much so. And I want to comment on that as well. Terrance makes an excellent point. What we've seen since the start of the pandemic a year ago here in the US is, and I'll give you an example, of small business owners. The small business owners that have survived, and actually there are a lot that are thriving. We hear all the doom and gloom, but there are small business owners that are thriving because they made a paradigm shift in terms of how they will operate due to COVID-19. It's the same thing you do as an individual. You got to think about, what do you need to do? Yes, it's very stressful. Yes, maybe you probably lost employment or your income has been reduced because they reduced the hours at work. But this also is a time for you to reflect on what can I do that I loved to do. And I'm gonna give you a great example. I have a cousin in St. Louis. He went to college. He worked in the restaurant industry. He worked for a very small restaurant chain. Well, that restaurant chain went out of business. Okay, so he's looking at himself and his family. He got, family of 5 to feed. Like, what am I going to do? But what he thought of is like, you know what? I want to do something now that I'm not employed in the restaurant industry anymore. I want to do something that I love to do. I love working with my hands. I'm going to become a plumber. So he went and became a plumber apprentice. And people were like, well, why are you going to become a plumber apprentice? You did not need to go to college to do all that. But it was something that he wanted to do. Fast forward, he has the largest African-American plumbing firm in St. Louis. He works on every major project in St. Louis, and his family is thriving financially because he made that shift from the industry that he was trained for into an industry that he loved to do. And that's what I think the pandemic is giving people an opportunity to pivot, to pursue something that they love to do and want to do for the rest of their life. So this is how you can make it through the pandemic. Refocus that energy and think about, okay, yeah, this is stressful, but what can I do that I love to do now? Now that I'm no longer employed or underemployed. And this is what is happening now in during the pandemic.
I think that you are so right, sir. A lot of people that I talk to, they are stressing mentally because they don't know what they're going to do. They know that they're not going to be able to go back to their job because the place where they're working is closed down. So they're concerned about their family. They're concerned about when their unemployment is going to run out, or whether the stimulus is going to be able to help them. So what I'm hearing you say, it would be a wonderful time for them to take stock or inventory of themselves.
Exactly.
Themselves truly, what is it that I would really enjoy doing for the rest of my life? And,
yes.
then reaching out to the different agencies and resources in their community to see how to go about doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe being their own boss, creating their own business. Or if they may have always wanted to get into, as Terrance talked about, cybersecurity, finding out how to do that. It's a wonderful time. Instead of thinking that everything is lost, the old way is gone. Well, maybe that might be true, maybe it's not true, but it's also an opportunity now to look at where you are and where you want to be and where you want your family to be, and reduce some of that stress.
Yes.
Right. So one thing I do want to make sure that we get into is that as we're talking about different, life changes and looking differently, right now is the perfect time to start exercising too. Okay. We don't think about our physical wealth, that's money. And so right now, stop putting off or making excuses not to get out and walk around or do something. If you're watching TV, take the commercials, do some sit-ups, do some push-ups, walk around, during the commercials. It is very important that you get your health together as well. Okay. It is, it's about what you eat, right? But then it's also, you've got to do some kind of activity. Every type of slimming down, weight loss plan, and even from your doctor, is going to include some kind of activity. So if anything, in terms of the brand of you that you can start today, stop procrastinating, stop making excuses not to live a more active lifestyle. And so Bettina did want to make sure that I did talk about Tiger Life. And so Tiger Life is a post-secondary career and college career technical education program for undergraduate students at the University of Memphis that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability. Before I became a member of their team 2 years ago, they were only focusing on inventory, retail, and warehousing positions. They have roughly a 68, 69, 70% job placement rate. It's a 2-year program. So they're going through a readiness portion that first year. And then that second year, it is an internship, and it's usually a paid internship program. Little different spin on an apprenticeship program. But 2 years ago, they asked me to figure out what it actually looked like to operationalize the notion that individuals that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability, to include being on the autism spectrum, look like with respect to getting them IT jobs. And so we piloted a couple of things. We did some hardware, uh, some PC replacement or PC technician kind of stuff. We did some website development kind of stuff, some desktop publishing, which is just a fancy way of saying graphic design stuff. We actually did some coding in the form of video games as well as comic books. And so we're now at a point where we're probably going to be doing something with individuals that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability as part of the summer internship program that we have for Terminex that I'll be overseeing. And so we're going to be talking to individuals at Terminex in terms of managers and directors of different departments, and just figuring out what can we have a couple of individuals in the Tiger Life program do around business intelligence and cybersecurity. So definitely looking to replicate Tiger Life in other locations. I do know they have talked to the University of Alabama. I'm right now having some conversations with various universities in Michigan, with that being Wayne State University, Eastern Michigan University, the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and Flint, because I did graduate from U of M Flint. So we are trying to make sure that at least Michigan is going to be a forerunner in operating in this space.
What benefit, or really what game changer is this for people who are living with intellectual abilities or autism? How does it change their ability to be able to be employable and to be able to be self-sustaining and as we say, live that life that we all strive to live in the United States?
Oh, it's huge. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Warren.
I was going to say, so that goes back to the rehabilitation agencies that every state in the union has. The Rehabilitation Services Agency, their sole purpose is to support that population. And I believe they can get support until they're 26, I believe it is, which involves training. It involves supporting you with your doctor's appointments. It involves on-the-job training, which hopefully will lead to those who can work to employment opportunities. Let me talk a little bit about the on-the-job training portion, because that's key. And I'm assuming that every state has an on-the-job training program. So the agency would pay the salary of the client to work for an individual for 30 to 60 days so they can get that on the job training. What we find is that population might not have a resume, anything to put on a resume. So what the on-the-job training program would do will allow them to get experience that they can put on a resume to eventually look for a job. But ideally, the company that they're working for, where the company's not paying a salary, the state is, would hire them after the on-the-job training period, which is 30 to 60 days. And so there is support for them. And they're very successful in getting this population placed on jobs as a result of those type of programs.
And so as the dovetail with what Warren was just saying, as part of the automation and digitization movement, and there are major employers that are looking to have positions specifically for individuals that have been diagnosed with an intellectual disability to include individuals on the autism spectrum. Because
Yes.
one fact that's not well known is that any organization that's getting federal funding, okay, or has received federal funding, which would include organizations that have received PPP loans or are going to receive PPP loans, have to have a certain percentage of their workforce that is a part of this population. And right now, not any of the organizations that I know currently, this was before PPP, are meeting that number. That's a little known fact.
So in regards to Tiger Life, Terrance, it's here at the University of Memphis. And you tell, it's not a new program. How long has it been around?
So Tiger Life has been in existence at the University of Memphis for about 5 years. And Tiger Life is actually part of a 8-state coalition of organizations for providing post-secondary workforce development training for this population specifically. It's the Southeast Alliance. And so it's Tennessee, it's Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, and a couple of other states. And so this alliance is looked at as the leader for all these other similar alliances across the country. And my supervisor, who is Maurice Williams, unfortunately, he could not make it today. He actually sits on the executive committee for that alliance, and he's over vocational training for the alliance. He is a strong advocate for individuals with disabilities in general being given opportunities to step into their greatness, on their terms. And so going back to what Warren was saying, this is huge. This is huge. If you go out and look at any types of programming for this population, very few, if at all, are you going to see even trying to prepare them for any aspect of IT, let alone business intelligence or cybersecurity. But yet we've talked about this for decades, that this population could be valuable in terms of IT human capital. And so we've just said, you know what, we've got to move past the rhetoric. Let's develop a model that's replicable and move on. And so, I've known Warren, can you believe it? But it's been about 15 years. And we just really started having a conversation about this after, me coming back from Memphis. So this is a good opportunity for us to figure out too, how do you integrate digital literacy training, IT training, and cybersecurity in existing programming? Because this is something every state has. Training and education dollars for vocational rehab, but in terms of providing the training and then doing it at a distance, it's something that folks need. So to be able to create this model, replicate it across states, and even with that, there will be opportunities for individuals in this population that want to help us replicate the model, because we gonna need our own Geek Squad for this too. So this is historic, is groundbreaking. For those that are listening, if you want to make history, this is it. This is very few people within their lifetime have an opportunity to make history. We with God blessing, we're doing that right now.
Yeah, and I think the IT field is perfect for this population. For one, they get to work from home. That's the first thing, because some of the difficulty that they have is going into the workforce with a lot of people around them. So now we're Zoom-based employment for the most part during this pandemic. And when we talk about paradigm shifts, here's one that's taking place right before our eyes: working from home. So this population can work from home. And then when you work with a rehabilitation agency, They will also provide you the adaptive equipment necessary for you to be successful working from home, whether it's the type of computer that you have, whether it's the type of desk that you have. And then on top of that, if you should encounter any kind of struggles along the way, they will bring in a job coach to coach you back up, so that you can be successful in this job working from home. So I think the pandemic actually created the perfect storm to provide IT opportunities for this population with the support of the agencies that are out there to support them.
Are there any special, other than qualifying for this program or a program like Tiger Life, are there any other special qualifications other than having some type of intellectual disability, Terrance?
I'm sorry, say that again. I missed that.
Other than having an intellectual disability, are there any other special qualifications that an individual who's seeking to be in a program like Tiger Life, or even the disability program in general, are there any other special qualifications that they need to have?
Well, in terms of Tiger Life, you do need to be an undergraduate student at the University of Memphis, or be a high school student that has a relationship. It was a school district that has a relationship with the University of Phoenix to be able to start the process of becoming part of Tiger Life. With respect to any of the other qualifications for program, I would think that that's going to be on a provider by provider basis. I think Warren can speak a little bit more to that. One other population, and I'm glad he brought it up, that I oftentimes talk about, but just have been remiss this time, is that homebound population. This is a great opportunity for those individuals that are homebound. They have to be at home for some way, shape, form, or fashion, whatever's causing them to be. This is an opportunity. COVID with telework and cybersecurity being part of every field of human endeavor, this provides that population unprecedented opportunity to not just be prepared for work, but to actually really work.
Yeah, very much so.
Where you talked a lot about cybersecurity, are there any special qualifications that a person needs to be looking at going into that field?
So again, I mean, there's tons of, there right now is a job shortage of roughly 3 million cybersecurity professionals, of which 250,000 plus are just here in this country. And there's probably even more, well, I'll say half of that for the government. Definitely different certifications that you can follow. Many of the certifications that you can obtain are anywhere, we'll say, start from 75,000 a year, and I've seen some go up to $250,000, $300,000 a year, and actually know some folks that are making that kind of money, again, working from home. I think though, with any career field, just like with any career field, I should say, cybersecurity, you should be, again, focusing on what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life if you weren't being paid for it. And then there are resources that we can help say, these are this is the domain. So there is something that the National Institute of Standards and Technology has called the Cybersecurity Workforce Framework. That framework has 7 different domains, and those domains are focused on particular buckets, if you will, of work. So one of those buckets in which I work in for Terminex is govern and oversee. Okay, and so that's a lot of planning, policy work. It does have technical writing and all of that kind of stuff. And so you can go and look at the cybersecurity workforce framework, that domain, and then it actually has some jobs. Okay, we call them work roles that align with that domain. Then you can say, okay, I like this particular job, and then it has knowledge, skills, aptitude, task, and certifications aligned with those jobs. Okay, so don't just try to chase the certifications for the money. You want a career. You want something that you enjoy. You don't want to be going to work, oh, I hate this and I hate that, like a lot of other folks, and in going to back with Warren saying, if that was where you were, here's a great opportunity for a fresh start. Okay. There are tons of IT training companies, but again, those companies may not be trying to prepare you for the certification that you need. Moreover, those organizations may not have a model like your center has, in terms of, we train you for the certification, but then we also provide you a valuable service learning opportunity, and that you're actually going to be practically applying your skills as, I'll say, quote unquote, a geek squad for some community-based organization in your neighborhood. So that now, as I'm preparing you for the certification, you're also becoming functionally literate in the field. We use that same model to develop Wayne County Community College's cybersecurity program. It was one of the first of its kind in the country 5 years ago, when we actually had video games that trained individuals for the certifications, trained individuals for those service learning opportunities. And at that time, our first time pass rate was 95%. Took that model, went down to the University of Memphis, where I was running their cybersecurity center. We had the first ever camp for cybersecurity tech ambassador camp, which they loved that. We took that model and had the first ever cybersecurity program for Shelby County schools. And how cool is it that not only am I the lead cybersecurity instructor right now for Shelby County schools, but guess what? I'm working from home in Detroit. I'm working from home in Detroit right now. And so those opportunities have allowed me to work for the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, Cybersecurity K-12 work group. I'm one of the co-chairs for that work group. I've done a lot of cybersecurity work with the National Cybersecurity CyberWatch Center. And then, as I said, Terminix has me developing their new IT internship program. Is virtual for high school students that are juniors or seniors. We're piloting this summer for Memphis area students that are Kappa Leaguers. And they're going to be getting some of these certifications. And we're doing some of the stuff with teachers. And so again, if folks are interested in any of the programming that Warren or myself have talked about, that email address is info at yc4w.org. info at yc4w, the number 4.org.
I put that in the chat for you. I think that, Warren, is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we have not covered?
Absolutely. I want to follow up on what Terrance was saying. Excellent points. If you want to get certified in cybersecurity, this is actually the best time to do it. And it's a unique time, because while we now, assuming that they're getting unemployment, get retrained, meaning that you have some income coming in through unemployment, but that's going to end eventually. So getting the certification, like in cybersecurity, there are retraining programs that are out here that some states are sponsoring, some industry professionals are sponsoring, that if you want to go into this industry, now is the time to get it. So once, and hopefully not when you at the end of your unemployment, but before then, you now are certified in cybersecurity, that now you can begin to pivot and look for employment opportunities in that industry that will pay you a lot more money than probably what you were getting paid before in the job that you had at the beginning or during the pandemic when you lost it. So you got to take advantage of this opportunity, because it's going to be a long time before you see another $1.9 trillion relief budget passed to support Americans to get back into the workforce.
So This has been some wonderful information in terms of how I can go from fretting or being afraid, from sitting at home worried about my future, or being afraid that the unemployment is going to run out and I'm not going to have a way of making a living. And even though I hated that job I was doing before, or maybe I didn't hate it, maybe I was just going along and wasn't about it. But now I'm hearing from you that there is an opportunity for me to rethink my life, rethink my career, as opposed to, and that would certainly create a less stress. That would certainly create a wonderful way for me to improve the overall life choices and lifestyle of myself and my family.
Very much so. And you know, Terrance mentioned earlier about the being physically fit. You know, you got to be physically fit along with having a fit mind. Those two they correlate with each other. And I think part of the stress is that we sit and worry. You get out there and take a walk and clear your mind so you can really see what this unique, stressful incident has done is created other opportunities for you. But as long as you sit back and you're stressed out, you're not going to see the clarity of it and the opportunities that are coming your way. And so if you get out there and you do a little workout, you know, some jumping jacks, your mind starts to clear and you begin to see these opportunities. And that's why something like this webinar today is great for people to hear, because listen here, it affected me as a business owner. That first month, shut down, zero business coming in. But people know me, I'm motivated. So I didn't dwell in the fact that I went a month without business because of COVID. I started thinking about, okay, COVID, I think it might provide me some opportunities. And so I started looking for those opportunities. And guess what else I did? I started partnering with people as well. I didn't have to do it by myself. And as a result, now I've created new income streams. I've created new partnerships because I didn't dwell in the fact that I had lost all my business in a very short period of time when COVID hit us. I dwelled in the fact that maybe this might create opportunities for me, and it sure enough has.
Wonderful. Are there any other comments? If not, I'm going to ask if there are any questions that anyone would have. Either put it in the chat or you can open up your mic at this time and ask your question. No questions?
Let me look and see. I don't see any questions. Did we forget anything, Warren? I know me and you get to talking. We'll talk forever. I just want to make sure that we didn't forget anything, or that we tied everything together.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that we've missed specifically.
Okay. I do want to say one other thing. I know you said it a lot of times. I've said it a lot of times too. You may, in terms of trying to figure out what your purpose is, going forward in COVID, you know, what is that thing going on in your community? You know, what is that problem or challenge that irks you just so in your community that you can say, well, if we did it this way, it might make a change. That may be your entrepreneurial calling. Okay, everybody is an entrepreneur, whether you have your own business or you're working for somebody. You're trying to solve a solution and you're bringing your unique skill sets to solve that problem, whether it's a service, a product. You know, many times it may just be your intellectual process, the way that you go about thinking about resolving problems. That may be it. because a lot of folks don't have that ability to just think through a problem step by step by step. They focus on just there might be a 10-step solution, right? They focus on only the first 2 or 3, and they don't have the ability to look beyond that. That's not a bad thing, as much as it's an opportunity for you to make money. Somebody's going to make it. Why not you?
Exactly. I mean, you know, those individuals we have in the community that seems to solve everyone's problem. Hey, maybe you could become a coach. Okay. It's just that simple. What does it take to become a coach? There's some certified agencies, but then again, hey, people will pay you for your skill set, what you're good at doing, and coaching people through situations like a business. Hey, you worked in the professional world, you got laid off. Now you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Okay. Hey, I solve problems every day at work. So how can I use that skill set of solving problems to help out small business owners who have similar, smaller problems, but no one to coach them through it? Well, I become a small business coach because I'm taking that experience I had working in corporate America. Or I'm gonna give you an example. I worked in the restaurant industry and I lost my job. We know the restaurant industry is struggling, but I was a problem solver at the job. Maybe I can offer that services to the individuals who have restaurants, who see no hope in this pandemic, and kind of help coach them through it. So we all are entrepreneurs at heart. It's a matter of us evaluating what talent and skills that we have that we can monetize and create our own income. And that's for those who want to go into business for themselves.
Thanks for saying that, buddy. That's what we was missing. That was the first time we said monetize. Monetize your unique talents.
Yep.
Okay. God gave you a specific set of gifts. You didn't give them to anybody else. Okay. He wants you to use those gifts to help make the world a better place. I have not seen anywhere in any religious text that it says he doesn't want you to make money and live a comfortable life. Okay. You don't have to give away your talents. Figure out how to monetize them. Be about the brand of you. Make it happen. If nothing more, I don't think we mentioned either. I mean, if nothing more, this is the perfect time to talk to some entrepreneurs that you know and find out what their story is. Because there may be some pearls of wisdom for you in their stories.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to use me as an example. When things slowed down, and like I say, I had to pivot myself. One of the things that I pivoted on to create another income stream, I started writing more books. I've published 4 books in 1 year, and I'm working on about 4 other ones. So I took the downtime that I had as a result of COVID to create this other income. It's not my first time publishing, but I've never published 4 books in 1 year. So I pivoted, but that was me evaluating what I brought to the table and how I can create some passive income. And that's what I was able to do. I continue to monetize that income stream by writing more books. And now when we come out of the pandemic, just different subject matters that I'm writing about now I have books and people are going to look at me as the industry expert. Now I'm going to take it to a whole nother level. But as a result of COVID, it gave me the opportunity to reevaluate myself, pivot, and now I'm publishing all these books in addition to all the other things that I'm doing. So to me, I'm more than motivated than ever before as a result of the pandemic. And when we come out of this pandemic, I hope to go to a whole nother level in my career as a result.
See, I'm glad he mentioned that. Again, going to trying to figure it out. He's got me on this homework assignment track to get my first book published in the next 6 months. And so being an entrepreneur, is not a destination. It's a process. Yeah. It's a process. You're always looking for your next product. And so, in 6 months, I'll have my first book. I'm excited about that. And I've put, myself on this path of, every 6 months, I want to figure out, what the next book is. that I'm going to publish and do that. And this and I need to do it because my little sister, Dr. Tamara Rose, she's got what, 4 books, Miss Bettina?
6.
6. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say 6, but I just see I'm slipping. You know, I need to catch up with my young sister.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. And if there are no questions, I kind of just want to sum it up as saying that health and economics go hand in hand. You got to
Absolutely.
be healthy, to eat, to have a roof over your head, to be able, and you have to be healthy to work to do those things. And so to get your medicines and all of those kinds of things, where it comes in economically, to see the doctors, but it's also so that you can have a quality lifestyle. And in all of it, it's just a circle: health and economics, health and economics, health and money, health and money, health and money, health and money, money and health. So if you're not healthy, you can have all the money in the world, but you can't enjoy it. So again, we want to say thank you and for helping us to make that connection. And we certainly want to hope that we have enlightened some people today, and wish that you all would have a blessed day. And I wanted to talk a little bit about our upcoming events. On Sunday, March the 21st is our Taste Test Sunday day, and it has to do with people being able to learn how to cook different foods, cook the foods that they love in a different way, so that it's reducing negative health impacts. Like for instance, if you're diabetic, how to cook without sugar and make food still taste good, and then you still able to enjoy it and to love all the things that you love. So join us for Taste Test Sunday. And then in April is Minority Health Month, and that right now the focus is on the disproportionate effect of COVID on our communities. And so they're trying to underscore the need for vulnerable communities to get vaccinated. So if you have not been vaccinated, please think about it. Evaluate your risk and the benefits of being vaccinated, and then do whatever you're led to do. But we would hope that you would get vaccinated. And we talked about autism today. So know that April the 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day, and the Autism Society even has made it World Autism Month. So learn as much as you can. And information from this program will be posted on our website, which is www.hopenbc.com. Again, that's www.hopenbc.com. It's on our, it will also be on our Facebook page at National Baptist Convention USA Inc., Hope Health Initiatives, and our YouTube channel, which is NBC USA Hope. And that's H.O.P.E. So again, well, excuse me, there's no E after no dot after E. So again, that's NBC USA H.O.P.E. So I also want to recognize our Hope team, which is Dr. Michael O'Miner, who's our chair, our leader for that. Sister Lottie Miner, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, yours truly, Bettina Campbell, Pastor Dexter Munray, Ellen Knight, Sister Ellen Knight, Sister Felicia Washington, Minister Geraldine Moore, Dr. Desi Levy, Sister Linda Carter, Sister Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, and Miss Michelle Johnson. Now this team is the National Baptist Hope team is national. And so they have different areas of expertise, and we're also stand ready to be able to help you in any way that we can, because the National Baptist Convention wants to see all of its members become the healthiest members in the United States, the healthiest people in the United States. So we're working on, our goal is to become the healthiest denomination in the United States. So again, we want to give recognition to Dr. Jerry Young, our president, Dr. Alvin Edwards, the general secretary, Dr. Alvin Love, who's our chair of the Federal Faith-Based Initiatives, Michael Miner, who is the director of NBCUSA H.O.P.E initiatives. But we also want to take time and also recognize the NIH All of Us research program, of which NBC USA H.O.P.E is a part of. And that's an initiative by the government to get over 1 million people enrolled in a research project looking at precision medicine, which means individualized medicine, so that we can better be able to help people, because one size does not fit all. I see that Mr. Galloway is wearing glasses, so am I. But I bet you if we exchange glasses, I probably couldn't see out of his and he couldn't see out of mine.
Exactly.
They have been precision made for our own unique vision. And so that is what all of us is trying to do, create medicine that will help all people in the United States have a better quality of life. So again, we want to thank them and thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you the next time. Everybody have a blessed day. We're going to do 2 minutes and we'll be off of our Facebook, and we'll stay on Zoom for a few minutes for a wind down. Duke will let us know when we're off.